So it's really easy to let fear get the best of us. But what if your natural response is to just lean into optimism? Welcome to This Life Reconsidered, and my name is Janina Nunez. I focus on creating videos that are all about trying to see the world as half glass full and personal development. So if you're interested in that kind of content, then you may want to hit the sub button below. So when I came up with the concept for this video, I'll be honest, it was when I was really reflecting on one particular emotion that has always really gotten the best of me. And it's fear. When I was a kid, it was always fear. And I say that because I realized just how prevalent it was in my life. When it came to thinking about, the fear that I had if I didn't get that grade that I really wanted, because of what I thought it would mean, or the fear that I would have when a crush that I had didn't return the feelings, even though I wore my best outfit and had my hair done just so. And, I realized that kind of sense of fear kind of continued when I got to adulthood. And then I realized that the fear was different, right? Now I'm worried about not getting that dream apartment, not getting that dream job, eventually not finding my life partner, and the list goes on, right? So, all that said, I think that, you would hear all this and it would make you think that I may seem like a scaredy cat, and I'll be honest, maybe I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat. Okay, fine. Maybe bigger than little. But anyway, well, that's for another video. Point is that I realized that it wasn't really about being a scaredy cat or being a chicken. It really was the emotion of feeling and wanting to avoid the emotion of feeling so bad that, if things didn't come true, that I wouldn't be that much more happy, and it's a little misguided to kind of think about it like that, but it was almost kind of like I was putting so much pressure into this thing that I wanted so much because it was going to make me feel what I believed was the way that I needed to feel, right? And if I had that thing, then life would be better. And it feels really, really odd and misguided to kind of say that, but it's true, And I don't think that, I'm very unique that way. But I would say that that's kind of something that we do to ourselves as people. We put a lot of pressure on those kinds of like nice kind of aspirational things that we believe will actually allow us to kind of rid all of those emotions, right? Like, so for we believe if we get that next job, that makes more money, then all of our problems will go away because we will have the money that we want. But that doesn't exactly automatically just kind of go away. We all know, as the song says, more money, more problems, right? So it's not, things don't automatically go away. You just have different problems to replace them. But, so as I think about all of this, and as I start getting back to a semblance of normalcy in my life, as I kind of rebound from all of the experiences I've been through in the last few years, and for more background on that, you can click the link on the video above. I just got to thinking and started realizing that, if I kind of did a little bit of shifting from my perspective and my worry of fear, and this is just kind of go with me on here, I realized that there are a couple of key things that would need to happen, and kind of how I would need to kind of start thinking about life, maybe a little bit more optimistically, and starting to lean into the concept of optimism, and realizing that there are a couple of key things that would be really important here. Things that do not work exactly as you want them is probably the universe telling you that, I don't know, maybe not now, or maybe something better is coming, or that, that there's something else that's even bigger meant for you. That may seem really kind of romantic or really, really optimistic, but that's the point, right? And I've realized that, that the idea of kind of realizing that there was only one thing that could make you happy was really, really just kind of silly. And then you kind of have to realize that there's probably a couple of different ways to land at where you're supposed to be. So if I started kind of letting myself think about it that way, then maybe that there's something to this kind of whole idea that I don't have to kind of lean into fear, but instead I can lean into a little bit more of optimism here, because that is kind of supposed to be kind of like the bridge and the motivation that I need to get to that big thing, or that next thing that is really meant for me. Insight 2 that I had as I realized that maybe there's a good opportunity to be leaning into eternal optimism as opposed to allowing myself to cling to fear like I used to do. I realized that it may really, really just suck not getting what you want, but let's consider it a different way, right? Maybe this is just kind of the runway that you need to kind of really kind of be prepared and eventually just kind of setting up for what you're really supposed to eventually have. Sometimes we don't realize that maybe we just need a little bit more time to be ready to kind of receive or accept what we're meant to have. I mean, it's not a crazy idea, right? Like, maybe you just kind of need to get your house in order, so that way you can be ready when what you're supposed to have is meant to be. Think about if you meet the right person and you haven't had kind of like the emotional awakening that you're supposed to have, or maybe you start, a job, and you're not really quite prepared with all those experiences. It may be too early, right? Maybe you need to get some experiences before you're ready to get kind of to that next job or that next promotion, right? So it's the same idea. So maybe you just need a little bit more runway to kind of get to where it is that you're supposed to be. The bottom line here is that, there are things that will always freak us out. That's just the nature of just kind of like living and being human. And, the world would just be like lousy and boring if we didn't have those kinds of things, right? But if you look at it a little differently, that kind of stuff can also serve as really good motivation, right? To enable us to kind of see the world a little differently, and then maybe also kind of empower us and maybe even serve as a little bit of motivation. And if you think about it that way, then maybe that's the kind of stuff that you can use to kind of like fuel you and ideally maybe allow you to kind of feel even that much more amazing when you do conquer or come out on the other side. You can't really feel that great without knowing what it is that you want to conquer, right? Well, you know what I mean. Eventually, that you don't want to feel that freaked out, so you kind of want to focus on kind of like the conquer kind of feel. And there's something that makes that rewarding, knowing that there's something to conquer. You get where I'm going on that one. Anyway, I don't know. I think that that's kind of just as empowering if you let it be. I don't know. I think that, and I say that this is not easy stuff, but it takes a lot of active practice. So I think if you think about it from those kind of perspectives, then maybe it won't be quite as bad. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on fear. What is your perspective on seeing the world as half glass full? And, I don't know, the positivity, do you allow yourself to kind of see the world that way? What works for you? I'm really curious to learn that, because I know I continue to actively work on it and would love to kind of learn any other insights that you would be willing to share. Feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll see you at the next one.